Hello, my friends. A truly wonderful welcome back to Pure English Podcast. Is there a better feeling than pressing play on a new episode, knowing you're about to give your English a boost? I don't think so. I am so glad you are here with me today. Now, let me ask you a question that might feel a little too familiar. You listen to podcasts, right? Of course you do. You listen to my voice, you listen to other teachers, maybe you listen to true crime or comedy shows in English. You listen, you follow along, and you understand more and more. It feels great. It feels like progress. But then the moment comes. You try to speak. Maybe it's in class, maybe it's with a foreign colleague, or maybe you just try to talk to yourself, and suddenly nothing happens. It's like a door slams shut in your mind. The words you just heard in that podcast, the perfect sentences, the natural phrases, they're locked away. They stay in the podcast. They don't come out of your mouth. You think, I just heard that word. I know it. Why can't I use it? This, my friend, is the gap. The frustrating, silent gap between passive listening and active speaking. And today, right here, we are going to build a bridge over that gap. We are going to turn your favorite podcast from a passive listening activity into an active, powerful speaking machine. Get ready, because today you will learn the real secret of how to learn English with podcasts. Let's be brutally honest about the problem. Passive listening is comfortable. It's safe. You can do it on the bus, in the gym, while cooking. It feels like learning, and in a way it is. You're training your ears. But it is like watching someone swim perfectly and hoping you'll learn by just watching. You will never get wet. You will never feel the water. To learn, you must jump in. For English, you must engage your whole self. A podcast gives you an incredible gift. It gives you perfect pronunciation, natural sentence patterns, vocabulary and context, and the rhythm of real speech. But if you're only using your ears, you are only using 50% of its power. The other 50%, the speaking, the creating, the responding, is untapped. Today, we tap into it. I'm going to give you a simple, steel-worthy system. I call it the Active Listeners Framework. It has 3 core parts, not 10, not 20, 3. These are 3 techniques you can use with any podcast episode starting from today, no matter your level. These techniques will create a direct pipeline, moving English from your ears, through your brain, and straight out of your voice. No more gap. Are you ready? Let's begin with part 1, the foundation. Part 1, the strategic pause and echo. This is your most fundamental and powerful tool. It's not just repeating, it's strategic imitation. Here's how it works. While listening, your brain should be on high alert for what I call golden sentences. These are sentences that sound perfectly natural, sentences you wish you had said, sentences that express an idea clearly. When you hear one, you hit pause immediately. Then you become a conscious echo. You say that sentence out loud. But here is the critical detail. You don't say it like a robot. You say it with the same feeling as the speaker. Copy their emotion. Copy their rhythm. Where do they speed up? Where do they slow down? Copy their emphasis. Which word do they punch? Let me give you a deeper example. If I say, with feeling, I absolutely love the quiet atmosphere of a library in the early afternoon. Pause. Now, you don't just say the words. You say, I absolutely love the quiet atmosphere of a library in the early afternoon. Feel the emphasis on love and early afternoon. You are not just learning vocabulary, you are practicing the very music of English. You are training your mouth muscles, your tongue, your lips to make these English sounds automatically. This is how you build muscle memory for speech. Don't try to do this with every sentence. That's exhausting. Be a sniper, not a machine gun. Pick just 3 golden sentences per episode and echo them with perfection. This one habit, done consistently, will build your speaking fluency faster than any other single exercise. Part 2, the interactive question generator. Now we level up. We make the podcast a two-way street. After listening to a segment, maybe a 30-second story or a 60-second explanation, you hit pause again. But this time, your mission is different. You become a journalist interviewing the speaker. You ask yourself a simple question about what you just heard, and then, crucially, you answer it out loud. You are simulating a real conversation using the podcast topic as your springboard. Let's practice this together right now. I'll give you a short piece of audio. Imagine you just heard this in a podcast. Last weekend, I finally tried that new Italian restaurant downtown that everyone is talking about. The pasta was absolutely incredible, truly homemade. But honestly, the service was so slow, we almost left. Pause. Now generate a question. Any question that comes to mind. For example, what was the best part of the meal? Pause for you to answer out loud. You say, the pasta was absolutely incredible. Or, what was the big problem they had? Pause for you to answer. You say, the service was very slow. Or even, would they go back to that restaurant? Pause. You might say, maybe, but only if they have more time. Do you see what's happening? You are taking the information, processing its meaning, and producing a new grammatically correct sentence that wasn't in the original audio. You are practicing the #1 skill of conversation, reaction. Practice this with just 1 or 2 questions per episode. It trains your brain to think on its feet in English, which is the true heart of fluency. Part 3, the creative sentence transformer. This is where you move from imitation to creation. You hear a useful, flexible sentence structure in the podcast, and you transform it. You mine the grammatical pattern and use it as a template for your own life. Start by listening for simple, powerful frames like, one of the best things about is, or I've never been a fan of, or it always surprises me when, or the key to is to. Let's break down a detailed example. You hear me say, I've always been a big fan of starting the day with a clear plan. You pause. You identify the structure. I've always been a big fan of, gerund or activity. Now the magic happens. You transform it. You plug in your own truth. Say aloud, I've always been a big fan of watching the sunrise. Or I've always been a big fan of drinking green tea in the morning. Or I've always been a big fan of calling my best friend on my way to work. You have just done something profound. You've taken a native speaker's chunk of language, deconstructed it, and used its skeleton to express your own personal reality. You are building your own unique phrasebook from the best possible source, authentic spoken English. Now, how does this all fit into your busy life? It's simpler than you think. You don't need an extra hour. You just need a different approach to the listening time you already have. Let me give you a practical, step-by-step plan for your very next podcast session. Step 1, the enjoyment pass. Just listen. For the full episode or the first half, just enjoy. Follow the story. Understand the main ideas. No pressure, no pausing. Let the language wash over you. Step 2, the active engagement pass. Now, go back. Pick one 5-minute segment you found interesting. This is your practice ground. Echo. Find one golden sentence and practice the strategic pause and echo until it feels natural in your mouth. Generate. Ask yourself one question about the segment and answer it aloud in a full sentence. Transform. Find one useful sentence frame and create 2 new sentences about your own life. Step 3, the solidification minute. After you finish, close your eyes for just 60 seconds. Summarize the entire episode out loud in 3 to 4 simple sentences, as if explaining it to a friend. This episode was about active listening techniques. The host explained how to echo sentences, generate questions, and transform grammar patterns. I found the question technique most useful for thinking faster. This final step connects all the dots and stores the language in your long-term memory. This integrated method changes your relationship with English content. The podcast is no longer just background noise or passive input. It becomes your personal speaking coach, your always available conversation partner,
and your pronunciation model, all rolled into one. You are taking control of your learning.
Remember this, fluency is not a mystical goal about knowing every word. It's a practical skill about being able to use the words you do know quickly, confidently, and correctly. This active listeners framework is a direct training program for that exact skill. My challenge for you is this. In your very next listening session, maybe even later today, I want you to make one change. Pause just once. Find one sentence that resonates and echo it with feeling. Just once. Feel the difference between hearing and saying. That active engagement is the spark. That's where real growth begins. Thank you for spending this time with me here on Pure English Podcasts. Remember, you are not a passive consumer of English. You are an active speaker, a creator, and a communicator in training. Every episode you listen to is a new toolkit waiting for you to unlock it. Keep listening with purpose, keep speaking with courage, and I am so excited to hear about your progress. I'll be talking to you in the next one. Bye for now.